There's a lot of mystery in life. The mystery of how we got here. Yeah, we were born, and we know the physical aspects of it. But where do we come from and where we're going? We don't really know. It's a mystery. And isn't it good that there's mystery? If we knew everything, I don't think we would be able to live in the present moment very well. I think if you know your date of departure, it's like you'd be impatient, or can I change it? Can I bargain? The ego would jump right in there and make a mess of it. So the mystery is a wonderful thing, really. But we can know the gifts of this person's life. We can reflect on how the goodness of a friend, a parent, a child, someone that is dear and then is gone, we can reflect on the gift of their life to us. And abiding in gratitude is a wonderful way to live, to be grateful for those gifts and then to apply them to our life. I like to dedicate the goodness of my practice, whatever it might be. It might be good, really good, not so good, terrible. I'm doing the best I can, I think. Sometimes maybe I'm not. But then if I'm aware of it, I can remember that gift. Oh, I had this wonderful friend, and I'm going to do this for that wonderful friend, dedicating the goodness to the gift of that life, of that person that I shared with, that shared with me, with us. So when you live with that kind of attitude, there's nothing to regret, because it's a mystery. And if we just accept the mystery without trying to spoil it with our thoughts and our ideas, which are so limited. But the mystery is limitless, it's boundless. You just, like when you go into the forest, you don't thank every single tree. You just look at the whole thing and marvel. Or you look at one tree, but then on your way back on the path, you may not be looking at that tree. You'll look at a different tree and still have so much gladness for the trees. Now there was this woodpecker, but this woodpecker didn't behave like a normal woodpecker. It just keeps following us and landing on a wall or a structure out there and watching us. It looks like we don't know what it was doing, but it's mysterious. So we might giggle and feel wonder, what is this woodpecker doing? Must be a nest. But then it's rather unusual, the way it shows up every time we wander around. It's so friendly. Usually they don't come anywhere near. So it's a mystery, and isn't it good that there are things that we can't just explain? As soon as we explain them and know them, we move on to the next thing. But that wonder brings us back to a place of emptiness. Can't know the present moment, know the joy of that encounter, that experience, and greet the next moment with gratitude, with a sense of there's wonder. It's wonderful, it's full of wonder. If we didn't have the mystery, we wouldn't be able to feel that kind of childlike wonder. There's so much that we don't know, and it seems that we start off as children, as babies, as kids, And we're dependent. We're dependent on parents, on the grown-ups to help us, to feed us, to look after us. Then we go to school, we get a little smarter. Then we go to college, we get really smart. Then we go on to the next thing, and then we're smarter than everyone else. And the ego presents that, but there are still things we don't know. And it's such a good thing that there are things we don't know, so that we depend on our knowing enough to eat, to look after each other, to have friendships. And we can't predict the next moment. We can't predict tomorrow. We don't really want to predict it. That don't know factor is so important for being able to marvel at a woodpecker. Whatever it is, it's just delightful. But we can't explain every single thing. We can't explain why we die or where we go. There's lots of theories. That's what religions do. They make up theories. And then they fight. My theory is better than yours. But the mystery is the best part of it. That we don't know, and it makes us humble. We have to bow down to that. We bow to the Buddha. The Buddha isn't alive anymore, but the Buddha was a great teacher, and so many great teachers over the centuries. But in each instance, there is a sense that that teacher knew something that I want to know. More about what we're doing here, what we're supposed to do, how we can progress or evolve to connect to the most essential part of our being, our beingness. Whatever that might be, it's a mystery. We don't actually know it, but if we know the heart, this is where love comes in. Coming together in the face of the mystery. What we don't know links us in a field of lovingness, a field of kindness, and of humility. We might be grown up and think we're independent, but we're still dependent on so much. And it's interesting that when we're children, we're dependent in one way. We're either too little to reach and get something, or we can't put our clothes on by ourselves, or we need someone to help us eat. And then we grow up and we become independent. But in the mind, we become dependent on each other through this quality of relationship, of love, and there is a quality of mystery in that. We don't really know each other. We know a lot, but not totally, because we don't know ourselves totally. And when we really understand ourselves totally, if we ever get to that, then we're old, or we're sick, or we're on death's door, or we become dependent again. We need people to feed us, to look after us, to help us get dressed, to bring us a chair, to make us comfortable, to soothe us when our dependency on each other fails because one dies and we don't know what happened. Where is she? Where is he? Where did they go? We don't know. We don't really know. No, they're not those bones that are in the field. Because there's that quality of love. They're so much alive within us. We don't need a living Buddha person here. It would be wonderful. But instead, we have a practice that can lead us to know what the Buddha knew, or what the great beings in the world were able to understand through their wisdom and love. Then we bow to the mystery of all that. Isn't that what love is about? Just to open to this field of not knowing, but being completely aware. So the awareness comes to the unlimited knowing. And it's the form that takes us to the formless. The body is a form. And when we know what is beyond the body through understanding this quality of love, this quality of gratitude, there is this ability to be aware of the whole process and to be aware of the mystery. And then by knowing that, infinity opens to us. We know the mystery, we just open to it and accept, receive, and the whole thing unravels in front of us, and there's nothing to know except that. To know what is not knowable in the ordinary way is to truly love. It's undefinable. It can be experienced, but there's nothing we can say about it. But it can open a door, a doorway, a pathway that has nothing to do with the finite things of the world, of friendships, of relationships, of bodies and beings and thoughts and knowledge, which can only take us so far. But when we open to that which is unknowable with the mind, but it is knowable through the heart, and that is through awareness, a pure, unbounded awareness. It's formless, it's placeless, and it's indescribable. But the heart can know the mystery of that. Then there's infinite connection, gratitude, faith, strength. To die in awareness is perhaps the great death. To leave all this behind and bow to the mystery fully. Just to let go, letting go into that. All of this hinges on something that is important for us to consider, and that is we live in a moral universe. That moral aspect of it is our lifeline. We can't come to this being aware of the mystery, being aware of this moment, which even speaking about it takes away from the unspeakability of it. It all hinges on our moral being. How much can we be in line with that which is truly pure through our way of being, our conduct, our speech, our words, our thoughts, to ourselves and to each other, which is why I find being in the monastery so helpful, because we're exploring this together based on a moral stance. It's not a building. It's about the inner apartment that we live in, the space, the inner space to purify that. We might keep all our rules and be perfectly intact according to written codes. But then there is a moral code, which is love and kindness. A harmony that doesn't want to disturb any living thing, that stands in the face of violence without violence. We don't know to what extent we can do that. That's why we practice. We practice sitting in the silence, because when we're quiet, we can listen to that moral chord which vibrates within us. And it is the root of the mystery. It's the sound of the mystery. It has no sound. You see, when we're in the silence, we can hear the chord of that purity. But it cannot be heard. We don't hear it with our ears. We hear it just with pure present moment awareness. So it doesn't rely on our sense doors in any way. It's just there. It's the isness. It is the mystery itself, rising in front of us, within us. We can't speak it. This is just things as they are, just awareness itself. In that chord of the now moment, we are present, just as we are young or old, healthy or sick, happy or sad, rich or poor, educated or not. It doesn't matter. We come together and bow to that momentary presence. It doesn't matter what religion, really. Religion is just created, but that chord is the original point of the whole thing. And it can abide in each of us just when we are attentive in that way, silent, not busy, just quiet and listening with the heart, listening. So this is such it's an important is a feeble word, it's potent. It's an important, potent, energetic field of presence. It's transparent. It has no color or form, and yet, when all the sense doors are quiet and silent, it unfolds. It's measureless. None of our scientific instruments can touch this. So we dedicate ourselves to this knowing quality, and we bow to it every day. We wake up in gratitude, we wake up in virtue, we protect our ethics, our kindness if we can, our lovingness. We watch the mind states change and we try to direct them in a wholesome way. Because the wholesomeness helps to wake us up to this. With purity of conduct and speech and present moment awareness, we are more and more able to abide in that transparent, peaceful, motionless, infinite space. Maybe those astronauts got a taste of it because they were in infinite space, in emptiness. How does the mind compute that? But as human beings, we want answers. We want to know, we want to write it down. We want to control it. Then the mystery disappears. We can't explain. There is no words for seeing the flight of a woodpecker, the bowing of a deer to its newborn to lick it. The love that we feel in the heart when we see our mom for the last time. The love that we feel when we sit in the silence and we feel the gratitude for this present moment, awareness, and the teacher who brought us to this knowing. There is no way we can express that presence. It's beyond our expression. But we can experience it through the love and the connection in that love. That's the mystery. It's timeless. Beyond time, beyond, as we said, beyond measure. But it's true. And that which is true is to be honored. We're so dependent on the world for so many things. But when we have this taste of the absolute mystery, then we really have a sense of independence because there's a freedom. That is the awakening, the liberation that the Buddha speaks about. So there is a time when the heart is free from dependency, even if the body is not, which is a real gladness. Then these divine abidings come to fruit. They really do. We can trust that. If there's anything that we can't trust, it's that. So let's pay homage